Alright, we're on the draw here with RUG Delver, and I kind of want to keep this on the draw. We've got turn 1 Delver plus Bobble, snaps a while off. We get to draw a card, we get to Bobble, Delver, Bolt. These are good things to have when you're light on mana. I'm going to try it. I think it's worth trying. If the opponent plays out a threat, we can bolt. I kind of don't think Ornithopter is the kind of threat we need to bolt right away. So I'm gonna let that sit. Looks like we're playing against Affinity. Gonna get a Steam Vents here to play out our Delver of Secrets. Means we have one fewer land in the deck, but I think that's gonna be okay. And we're gonna play both of these baubles. I feel like I want to use one now. Maybe, given that we had the second bauble, we should have used it to scry with this fetch land. But if we had something on top, we probably want to make a play here regardlessly. So I think this is okay. I might just crack both of these on their turn. One for Delver Scry, one for some information. Draw 3 cards, probably going to hit a land at that point. Here's an Arcbound Ravager, that's going to resolve. And this is very tame for Affinity. Take a look at what they're going to draw. It's an Etched Champion. Well, that's the kind of stuff that gives me nightmares. We have a Visions on top, so Bobble and Bobble gonna hit the stack before Delver of Secrets. Let's have Delver take a quick look-see at that Visions. That's gonna be helpful. That's for sure. Don't think we can afford to slam a Goyf here, even if we hit a land in one of these 3 draws. Really 2, since Visions. Not sure if I can afford to not have Lightning Bolt available here. I kind of just want to bolt their Ravager. So we hit the land, which is nice. Not sure how likely we are to hit the land once we have these 2 baubles in hand. That definitely helped quite a bit. So we could bolt the Ravager. They're going to put the counter onto the Ornithopter. That seems pretty good. That's a really good exchange, given that this is an Arcbound Ravager and these things are terrifying. We can do that and use this Serum Visions this turn, which seems pretty decent. Question is, do we get in for 1? I think we would in that case. So let's crack this. Double red, probably not as good as double blue here. Almost certainly not as good as double blue. Gonna grab a Breeding Pool. The Forest is definitely out of the question because we need to cast these 2 spells. Start off with Visions. Get the information while it's here. 3rd land, Tarfire going to be fantastic. Mana Leak going to be pretty bad. We could have held up Mana Leak for the Etched Champion, but I don't really like that. I'm going to swing here just in case they are willing to chump block with their Ornithopter, which is extremely unlikely, but you know, give them the chance. And then we're going to deal with this. So they're going to resolve an Etched Champion, but you know what? They're only going to have 2 artifacts on board. That's better. We can't Tarfire the Ornithopter anymore. Looks like Insectile Aberration is gonna be hanging back to block soon. Never mind. Galvanic Blast gonna take care of it. Now we're in some trouble. With this Cranial Plating on board, I don't think we can allow an Etched Champion to resolve, which is really quite bad because they're gonna start ticking away at our life total. We can't deal with this Ornithopter, which is kind of funny. We can't deal with an Ornithopter. I think we have to pass here, which feels terrible. We can Snap Bolt the Ornithopter. Okay, we're fine. We are totally fine. That's one thing I want to work on, paying attention to all the possibilities. I often find myself focused in one particular line that I notice, and I think I suffer for that. Here's the Ornithopter. I kind of want to take this hit. That way they can't go land champion. So I'm gonna take 3 here. One, 2 mana. It's a Vault Scourge. We can just Tarfire that. We're not going to Tarfire it yet. This does have 3 toughness. Wanted to make sure. Target Lightning Bolt, not Serum Visions. That would be awful. Bolt, that, red. Okay. They don't have anything on the ground, so I'm pretty sure we just get in with Snapcaster Mage. It's not going to block anything, so if they want to trade Vault Scourge for it, that's fine. Otherwise, we're going to chip in for 2 here. Now, if we cast Tarmogoyf, we can't Mana Leak and Tarfire, which is very relevant. So, if we cast Tarmogoyf, we can't Leak and Tarfire. I really want to hold up Mana Leak, because we're going to need to deal with that Etched Champion, and it's just about our only way to do so. Now, we could just take a little bit of damage from what they have on board, but Cranial Plating is going to make that for a lot of damage. So I think we might actually be passing the turn here, which is really awful. We're not winning right now on board. So I kind of don't like it. The Tarfire makes me a little happier about it. We're going to take something out, which means we kind of fog them for the turn. And that's not bad. That part is pretty good. 1 point life swing. Do we just have to Tarfire this? If we don't Tarfire this, we're not really doing much, so I do think we're going to. The lifelink also is going to be very relevant. Arcbound Ravager, is that worse for us than Etched Champion? How many artifacts do they have? Not many. We're going to fetch here, get the double red. We might just play 2 Tarmogoyfs. Establish a massive clock, then the next turn we haste out Knuckleblade. I'm pretty sure that's the line. I wanted to counter this Ravager because I realized that Etched Champion doesn't actually have Metalcraft unless they invest a lot of mana in animating manlands. So I decided holding up Mana Leak to deal with Champion probably wasn't as good as I thought it needed to be. That makes it a lot better. That makes holding up mana to deal with Champion so much better. Now they have the 3rd artifact. And they can equip it. Now that's just a 5/2, so it doesn't actually kill any Tarmogoyfs. We can traverse out a Snapcaster Mage to Tarfire. How good's that? They're going to block a Tarmogoyf, and they're taking lethal, aren't they? 6, 2, 4, that adds up to 12. They're at 8. I'm going to spend 30 seconds or so to check my math. They have 1 card in hand, 0 mana available, 1 blocker. It's a 5/2. It's going to block the 6/7 because it's the biggest thing. So we're going to attack with everything after hasting out a Nux. We have 1, 2, 8, 14, 18 power. They're going to block 6 of it. They take 12, go to -1. Cool. We did it. Fantastic. I love winning game 1 against Affinity. That's probably my favorite thing. Let's go to the sideboard, and we were on the draw. So that keep worked out. Don't know if it was actually good, Makes me a little more confident in keeping it next time. Mandrill's not going to do much on the ground. We're actually taking out Nux here, which is kind of ironic, because it sort of won us that game. But I think having the 2 Tarmogoyfs was more instrumental in winning that game. We could have just swung with the 1 Tarmogoyf. Well, no, they block. We swing with both Goyfs. They block 1. 1 gets in. We keep Snapcaster Mage back, which doesn't make sense. So we would swing with the 3, traverse out another Snapcaster Mage, so we could Tarfire Manlands. That's not bad. That's not about bad out either. Cut this Disrupting Shoal. We don't have enough 2 CMC blue cards to support going after Affinity's payoffs. 1 Mana Leak, 1 Stubborn Denial, because we're bringing in these Ceremonious Rejections, which are far better counters in the matchup. Artifact Hate, mid-rangey dudes. Believe I want EE. Yep. Can be a little slow. I'm still trying it out. Kozilek's Return, actually for this matchup. That's the main reason I have Kozilek's Return on the board here. To deal with Manlands and to deal with champions. We're back at 60. Do we like this? I think we like this. I feel like I'm going to run it. Let's do. Let's do. See if we can take a second game in this match. That'd be pretty great. 3 lands can be a lot. We do have a pretty high curve with the Huntmasters, and our hand actually is really good against Affinity here. Bolt, Spell Snare, Delver. If they don't have one of those busted Affinity starts where they just puke their hand, we're in good shape. They didn't. We're not going to play this Steam Vents. Well, actually, I do think I want to play the Steam Vents. Or do I? No, I'd rather go for the Misty. That way we can always just fetch something tapped if they don't have a play. It's pretty unlikely they don't have a play, but still. I was actually thinking not playing the Serum Visions because I really want to cash in this Spell Snare. I think Spell Snare is awesome against Affinity. That's fine. Most of their payoff cards are at 2. That's just another Springleaf Drum, so that's fine. So, we're going to grab probably double red in this instance. Bolt this. Maybe I should have just gotten a second Steam Vents, actually. That way we can go Delver, hold up Snare. That might actually be way better. I think we should have gotten the second Steam Vents. Maybe we should have just played out the first Steam Vents and assumed that they would have a play. Because usually Affinity does have a play. If Affinity doesn't have a play, we're probably in a good spot. So we could have had a Delver on board here. Are we really expecting a Blood Moon out of them? I don't think so, and I don't think I'm going to play around the possibility of Blood Moon. It's really unlikely they're actually going for it. Another Delver kind of makes me... I still want to hold up blue. I am going to shock here. We're going to take a good bit of damage, which is unfortunate. But you know what? We can play 2 Delvers. I only actually want to hold up 1 because I still want to hold up that Spell Snare. It is cramping our style. But you know what? If they do find the payoff card, we're going to counter it. And that's good. Such as this Cranial Plating, which is really hard to deal with otherwise. Not going to Bolt Face here. We're going to be very patient. Misty Rainforest. Actually, that's good. We're going to get a basic island here. I don't care about Delver Scry. I have actual Scry. Visions on top. Do I want another Delver? Maybe. Let's bottom this Delver. I think we have more impactful cards we can draw. Play Delver. If we use this Visions, we lose the guaranteed transformation of Delvers. First, we should probably get in with this. Technically, we should have just started off there. I do want to do this again. Don't really think we're going to play around second plating being that fast. Traverse on top with Goyf just underneath it seems great. And I'm pretty sure we drew another Serum Visions off of that. We did. We already had the denial off the previous visions. It looks like the opponent has a very, very bad hand. These are going to transform. That's going to be great. They don't have the ability to produce colored mana, so I'm not worried about a Galvanic Blast here. I am going to play that Tarmogoyf as soon as I can. Reveal Traverse. We're likely going to use Visions to draw the Goyf, cast Goyf, and then hold up Denial plus Bolt. That seems really good. Visions with the Island. Forked Bolt is fantastic in this matchup. Cast Tarmogoyf. And, well, we have lethal. The opponent doesn't necessarily know that we have lethal, but we do actually have lethal. Here's an Ornithopter. That slows us down. Means they can Springleaf Drum. It's a Blood Moon. Am I fine with that? I'm just completely fine with that, right? They tapped their Ornithopter. Yeah, that's okay. Go to end step. Bolt face. I don't need any more green spells. Everything in. Alright, we did it. I did at some point consider playing around Blood Moon because I know Affinity usually runs one in the sideboard. Don't know if they actually boarded in against us, but I do know enough about Affinity lists to know that they're running one in the sideboard usually. I don't think it's worth playing around in this matchup unless you just happen to be able to get your basics conveniently. You do have incentive to get your basics because Affinity is a fast deck. So I don't think the Blood Moon is really a factor in that. I'm just going to get my basics if I have the ability anyways. Most of our important cards are red because we really need interaction in this matchup, so there's that. We did chain a bunch of cantrips, so blue is certainly relevant. Obviously, we're going to need green. But I don't think Blood Moon is a huge deal. It also turns off their manland, so I actually don't think it's good against us in this matchup. Ponza, I think, has a great time keeping it in against us. Green-red land destruction, that is. I've seen Jund players board it in, or keep it in. I think I've seen main deck Blood Moon out of Jund once or twice. That's debatable. I don't think Jund should run it against us either. The deck with manlands usually doesn't want a Blood Moon unless it really slows down the opponent. And it doesn't slow us down that much, to be frank. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope to see you in the next one. If I didn't mention it already, this was match 3 of the league. We're officially 2-1 after a very nice match against Affinity. That was a fun time. I'll see you guys soon.